I pressed the palm of my hand to my forehead. So that's why Urznak wants you back so bad, I said. No wonder. You ran out on him just like you ran out on us. Well, if I hadn't, Annie said, you'd all be dead right now, along with everyone else that you've ever known or met. You know what? Right now, that doesn't seem like such a bad prospect. Annie groaned. God, you're so good at playing the victim. You should be on TV. You can play a corpse on Law and Order. And you can play, you know what? Screw you. Wow, very Frank and Teddy boomed out a long noise. Annie, Miss Hatchetface, and I all turned to look at him. My apologies. Sometimes when I get uncomfortable, I make noises. Annie turned back to me and pointed her finger at me. Frank and Teddy repeated. Miss Hatchetface was grinning up at Frank and Teddy, and Annie looked put out. Fine, Annie said. So you went and got our daughter kidnapped, and now you want me to go to the netherworld to sort it all out for you. Is that it? Yes, I said. That's all. Oh, she replied. That's all. That's all. Wow, I am so lucky that all you're asking is for me to go to the netherworld and talk to the most powerful being in existence, giving up his only granddaughter. You do know why they call him Urznak the World Eater, right? Why? Because he eats worlds. I rest my head on the bar for a moment and sigh. I bring it back up and rest my forehead in my hand. Look, I say, I don't really see what other choice we have. We need a plan, Annie replied. A rescue plan. We were sitting in Annie's living room, gathered around a fold-out table she'd set up in the center. The bright yellow light of a desk lamp bathed the papers that had been haphazardly strewn about its surface. They were maps, schematics of the Netherworld office building in which Urznak, the World Eater, resided. The light from the lamp bounced off the papers and lit Annie's face from below, making her look even more tired and stressed than she was, which was very. The way I see it, she said, there's only one way we can go about this. We sneak into the office and put Urznak back to sleep. You can do that, I asked. It's possible, she replied, but it won't be easy. I believe I have a solution, Frank and Teddy said. Even at a whisper, his voice was loud. When I find I cannot sleep, the Lady Hatchetface sings lullabies to me. You do that? I said, turning to Miss Hatchetface. That's so sweet. Miss Hatchetface went a slightly deeper shade of red than she already was. Annie made a slight disgusted noise. Hold on a second, she said. Are you boinking the nanny, Darren? That's so cliché. Who or what I boink is none of your business, I replied, and Annie rolled her eyes. Just not in my house, she said, okay? Don't worry about that. The sight of you pretty much killed my urge to boink. Frank and Teddy looked at me, then Annie, then back to me. What is boink? He said. It sounds like fun. You don't want to know, Satan said. And then turning to the rest of us, he said, can we please get on with this? You still have no idea what this apocalypse has done to real estate prices in hell. Is that a pressing concern right now, I said. My daughter's trapped in the netherworld right now. Well, not for you, Satan said, but it's bad for those invested in the future of the greatest nation of all time. America? What? No. Hell. Oh. Annie was shaking her head. How do you guys get anything done, she said. We don't really, I said. CEO is more of a managerial role, Satan added in, not a job where you actually do things. Annie sighed and picked up a pen, stabbing at one of the blueprints that sat on the table. This is where we need to enter, she said. The door will sense my blood and open, and the rest of you can go in. After that, you're on your own. If Urznak finds me in the netherworld, he'll eat the earth at once. I'll have to come back here and hide. How are we going to find our way through the building without you, I asked. That's what all the maps are for. Oh. Look, it's simple, Annie said, sliding the blueprint towards her and marking it up with the pen. This is the route you need to take. She slid the blueprint back to the center of the table and we all leaned over it. This route right here, I asked? Yes. The one that starts at the door marked Do Not Enter and ends with the room labeled Certain Death? That's the one. Okay, just checking. But getting in is the easy part, she said. It is? Yes, after you're inside, you'll need to keep yourselves and the goat hidden to keep from setting off security. Wait, there's a goat? Annie cocked her head and squinted. Of course there's a goat, she said. What else would you sacrifice? I'm not really comfortable with the idea of sacrificing anything, I said. Don't worry, she said. The goat's used to it. It's his job. That really doesn't make me feel any better. Look, she said, do you want Sarah back or not? I sighed. Get me the freaking goat. Annie made another phone call, and the goat had shown up at her door in a suit and tie, wearing a black bowler hat. He made sure to hand out business cards to every person present that simply read, Larry Crowder, Sacrificial Specialist. The goat took off his coat and bowler hat, standing up on his hind legs to hang them from the rack before seating himself in a brown overstuffed recliner. So, he said gruffly, I understand this is a netherworld job. He reached inside the pocket of his suit and pulled out a cigar and a Zippo-style lighter. He lit the cigar and puffed out a cloud of smoke. I stared down at the ivory white business card in my hand. Annie was the first to speak. Yes, she said. Do you think you're up for it, Mr. Crowder? First off, sweetheart, he said, you can call me Larry. He took another long draw of his cigar, leaving his face clouded by a haze of smoke. He made no sign that he intended on answering. Listen, Larry, I said. We're kind of in a hurry, so if you could... Whoa, 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 Larry said. I said the lady could call me Larry. It's still Mr. Crowder to you. I wasn't sure how to respond to that, so I just kept my mouth shut. The way I see it, Larry said, leaning through the cloud of smoke so that we could all see his face. Netherworld job ain't worth the risk. What's in it for me if I do this? I decided that now wasn't the time to bring up that this job was to get sacrificed. Because if you don't, I said, the world's going to end. What world? What do you mean, what world? I said. Earth. Larry leaned back and took another puff on his cigar. Not my problem, he said. Not your problem, I asked, dumbfounded. Do I look like I'm from Earth to you, boy? He said. Look, Larry, Annie said, shooting me a quick, dirty look. He didn't mean anything by it. Larry scoffed. Besides, she continued, Urznak the World Eater has awakened. You think he's really going to stop after he eats the Earth? He'll come for the goat dimension next. You know he will. Maybe, Larry said. He narrowed his eyes and leaned back against his veil of smoke. I could see his black eyes glittering as he sat there puffing on his cigar, thinking. I'll come back tomorrow, he said. 5 a.m. sharp. Without waiting for our response, he got up, slung his coat over his shoulder, and pulled his bowler hat down over his eyes, and left the same way he came in.